Ever notice how two people can face the exact same situation and react like they are living on different planets? One person jumps out of an airplane, while another triple checks the lock on their front door. On the surface, human behavior looks completely chaotic, but we naturally expect some consistency. If a friend is outgoing and chatty at a party, you assume they will be just as warm when you meet them for coffee. Are these patterns mental shortcuts we invent to make sense of the world? Or is there an actual scientific way to predict what someone will do? Psychologists spent decades trying to answer this, leading to what is known as the trait approach. This theory suggests that our personalities are built from invisible, enduring attributes. To qualify as a true psychological trait, an attribute has to follow 3 strict rules. It must remain stable over time, it must stay consistent across vastly different life situations, and its strength has to vary from person to person. If researchers could isolate these core building blocks, they could effectively decode the underlying source code of human nature. The first major attempt to map this code came from a psychologist named Gordon Allport. He figured that if personality traits were real, humans would have already invented words to describe them. Allport combed through the English dictionary and found thousands of descriptive adjectives. He organized these into a hierarchy. At the very top were what he called cardinal traits, dispositions so powerful they dictate almost everything a person does. Sometimes these traits are profoundly positive. Mahatma Gandhi's commitment to nonviolence was so absolute that it defined his entire historical identity. But a cardinal trait can also be entirely destructive. A consuming drive like Nazism can overtake every other aspect of a person's character, dictating their every action. Most of us do not have a single cardinal trait. Instead, we operate on the lower tiers of Allport's hierarchy. We have central traits, like general warmth or diligence, which you might put on a resume. Below that are secondary traits, minor preferences, like loving mangoes or preferring a certain style of clothing. Allport's hierarchy provided a useful map, but scanning a dictionary and picking words is subjective. Hard science requires measurable data. Raymond Cattell wanted to strip away the subjectivity and turn Allport's massive list of adjectives into hard empirical mathematics. Cattell applied factor analysis, feeding enormous arrays of descriptive words through a mathematical filter. The math revealed the chaos condensed into exactly 16 source traits, the invisible foundation supporting our complex surface behaviors. While Cattell found the math, another psychologist, Eysenck, looked for the biology. He argued that these traits were rooted in our genetics. This graph illustrates Eysenck's method of condensing personality into broad biological continuums. He plotted individuals along 2 main axes: how much control they had over their feelings, ranging from neuroticism to emotional stability, and how socially outgoing they were, from extroversion to introversion. By injecting statistical clustering and biological continuums, psychologists were mapping the physical architecture that drives how we react to the world around us. After decades of competing theories, psychologists Paul Costa and Robert McCrae set out to examine all this previous research and find a unified consensus. The result of that effort is the current empirical gold standard of psychology, the 5-factor model, commonly known as the Big Five. This radar chart maps personality across 5 independent spectrums: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Because they operate independently, the resulting shape creates a highly predictive, entirely unique psychological fingerprint. The Big Five successfully quantified human complexity, becoming the universally accepted source code of personality. When we look back at the wildly different ways people react to the same situations, it no longer looks like random chaos. It is a measurable, structured system. The goal of trait theory is not to trap people into rigid boxes. Your personality can adapt to external demands, but these traits map your baseline tendencies, your default settings. Understanding your specific combination of these stable traits grants you a distinct advantage. It gives you the power to predict how you will react to future pressures and unfamiliar environments. With that self-awareness, you can move from simply reacting to acting with intention. You can make strategic choices about the careers you pursue, the environments you thrive in, and the relationships you build. By recognizing this invisible architecture within ourselves and others, we gain the ability to navigate the world with science-backed empathy.